My name is Alicia from Doors to Floors blog, where we talk about DIYs, daily adventures, and life abroad here in Peru. Today's sewing adventure, we're making my vacation dress. We're going to try to recreate the Camilla and Marc Antelao dress. It's this dress here. Here's a little bit of a look at the dress. I really like how it gathers around the hip. It looks like they have a lining in this that stops right about the high hip or at the just below the waist. And then there's these two ties. You notice this tie here goes all the way around under the bust. And then this ties in here, the skirt. Let's see if we can get a better picture. And the tie that starts in the front going over across the breast and under the breast, it looks like it goes around the back. But there's two straps here, and then it kind of like looks like it cinches in a little bit. So this is my thought right now. So there are two pieces that make up the front piece, and then this long piece here is going to have all the gathers in it. And this piece here is wide on purpose so that you can kind of cinch it in. And then there's going to be that little tie that goes up through there. There's also going to be another tie here. And then there's a pocket and a seam. This is my plan, and I thought I would take you along with it. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm completely making this up, and let's just have fun. That's the goal. This is the lining of my fabric. Basically, the cup is going to go into this corner here, and then it attaches here. This piece here is intentionally long because it's going to go underneath this so that it kind of has something to hold on to. And then the back piece is here. This is the lining. I'm going to test it on my lining piece first, and if it all looks good and all sits well, then I'll go ahead and do it on the other piece. I just want to give you a little update. I spent all day yesterday sewing the cups to the centerpiece and pressing all the seams and top stitching and making sure it all sat right. And then I realized that probably was wrong, so I undid it all. It was just the lining, so I'm glad I tested that. And I left the, I don't know what you want to call it, the angled piece. I unsewed that, and then I sewed my outer shell and my inner pieces all together, and I top stitched it, and now it looks like this. It's gonna go under, maybe I should stand up. It's gonna go here. It's still gonna go same spot as it was before, right here. But the reason why I've decided that it needed to be its own complete piece, and I may have just done this wrong, I just realized. Oh my gosh, I might have just done this wrong. Okay, well, originally the reason why I decided this needed to be its own piece is because I need to be able to get that tunnel to go through it, because there's that, I don't know if you remember the original piece, but there's the straps that go over, it comes up under the bust and over the shoulder, but I just realized I didn't leave anything open here, so I either need to seam rip something, or I don't know, but I wanted it to be finished off on the edge so that I can top stitch and sew a tunnel, and that's why I left this edge open so I could sew that, but maybe I just did that wrong, because I think I'm going to need to create another tunnel here. I don't know, I gotta look at my picture again, but that's where we're at. I have top stitched and sewn the two pieces together, and I may need to undo everything I just did today. That probably means I need to take a break. I'm gonna take a break. Okay, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I've brought it in on both sides, kind of meet in the middle where that seam is. I don't know if you can really see it, but I'm gonna measure it and mark it on this one, and I'm just gonna sew everything. I've left the outer edge open so I can turn everything right side out, which I will sew, turn right side out, press it with my iron, and then top stitch. But I just realized that if I'm gonna sew this shut, I need to add the strap in here, so I guess I'm gonna go make straps right now. Working on my straps right now, and I intentionally made them thicker than the original picture. The original picture, from what I can tell, is a spaghetti strap, and I've tried numerous times to make spaghetti straps. Maybe it's me, maybe it's user error, but I always feel like I just end up wasting fabric when I make a spaghetti strap. I just wanted to say, if you hate something and are struggling to sew it, and it's not going to be perfect and exactly like the plan said or the picture originally looked, it's okay. It's okay to pivot. The straps are slightly thicker, but it'll still be cute, it'll still be fabulous, it'll still be amazing, and that's all that matters. Hello from another new day. Here's some things I have learned, okay? I don't know if I showed you earlier, but I've already stuck the shorter straps into the cup in between, because later we need to sew this down. I am planning to stop here though. I'm gonna sew around it, around the bottom, and around here, and then I'll stop on this spot here. And then I will stop on this spot up here, because I need to make sure that the straps pull around and get hidden in between here before I attach it. And to do that, I'll need to try it on. So we're at pause on that spot. Taking into account that I made a thicker strap, I made a thicker tunnel. Duh, but it needed to be done. So here's where my tunnel looks so far. It's a nice thick one, and you may notice that this is kind of short, which is okay because this piece right here is intended to be gathered or scrunched up when it's worn. It's not intended to be a super long one. The picture is a super long one, but I didn't want a super long one. I don't know why. Here's what I learned. If I do something like this in the future, I'm going to want to top stitch any of these edges where I have to leave it open. For example, right here, I had to open it. But the problem is when you pull the piece out, the folded over edge of the fabric wants to come out, especially since I snipped it on the corners. So in the future, I would top stitch the two, like all around this whole piece before sewing them together so that nothing pops out. So I need to weave my other tie through, and then this one's gotta come, let me see, let me move this way. The cup is supposed to go here. This one's supposed to go over the shoulder, and that's where I need to try it on again, because I need this to go into this piece here. That's why I said I'm not going to sew it yet. I need to figure out how I'm attaching the cup. That's another spot that I am stuck at. It needs to go here, but I don't want to sew over the tunnel I just created. So I got to think about that. And I don't want to do any more seam ripping. I'm really glad that I prefaced this project with I have no idea what I'm doing, because I have seam ripped again, and it's kind of killing the vibe of the project. Everything that I said before, disregard everything. I have seam ripped the bottom part of the cup. I've left this part sewn and this part sewn, and this part is open because I still need to tuck straps in. So I'm gonna press this with my iron. I'm gonna press it on the fold so that I can take this piece, which I also seam ripped. Excuse me, ma'am, please don't eat my ties, thank you. So I can press this piece going straight up, and I left my tie in there so that we can, attempt to not run over it and hopefully not have to seam rip that again later. So yeah, I'm gonna press this with my iron this way with the seam facing up, and then this way, this one with the seam folded inside, and then we're gonna pin it and we're gonna top stitch it, and hypothetically, then the cups will finally have been attached. And then, if we do it right, then we can finally attach the skirt, hem it, and add a zipper. And hypothetically, that's it. But this cup thing is not working for me. I have seam ripped it 3 or 4 times now. Okay, wish me luck. We've run into another issue. I just spent like 30 minutes trying to pin this in place. Only doing one side at a time so I can test it. Okay, here's where we're at, right? And I figured out how to pin it. It looks good. But, issue. This piece here is supposed to go over the back panel so that it can be ruched in, and if I sew it this way, I can't. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna just end up cutting off the back panel and sewing it in underneath or what, but I guess the question is like, how much do I want it to look like the inspo photo, and how much do I want to finish the dress and just make it work? Because clearly it's not quite working. I need to figure it out. So I just gotta kind of figure out what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I gotta think about it, but that's where we're at. I'm not gonna sew it yet because I don't want to unpick it again if I need to unpick it. So I just gotta sit on it for a minute and think about that. I think I figured it out. The only thing is I need a little bit of extra length so that I can basically put this directly on it, and my solution was bias tape. So I'll need to fix the curve here so that it lines flush, and then I will need to put bias tape along the bottom of this whole thing, and then I can top stitch here and here. I put the end of the bias tape right along this edge here and then there, and it should be good. I just need to try it on first to make sure that this isn't taking out too much of the cup, and as long as it doesn't, then I'm good to sew. I am stuck. I don't know how to attach the skirt to the dress. So this is the center back, this is the side, and this is the cup. So my thought is, if I seam rip the two skirt pieces apart and undo my pocket, I could sew the one skirt piece here, so it's sewn in at this center back piece all the way over to this piece here, the side seam that connects with the cup, and then I could sew the skirt, the front half of the skirt, into the curve and into this piece here so that it can be adjustable, and then also my booty doesn't hang out. Here's where we're at. I think this is actually gonna work. I went ahead and sewed a double rolled hem right here to this side, and then I folded this side down once, so a single fold, and then I created 2 rows of gathering stitches. Then on the center back, I went ahead and created a French seam, and I stuck this as high up to the edge as possible. Remember, I had originally intentionally created this piece a little bit longer than the other things, so that works out. Now all I need to do is figure out the placement and make sure this is evenly gathered across until it lines up with this seam here. So I'm going to sew it in there and just top stitch it down, and that's why I had folded it once so that the raw edge gets hidden and we don't have to worry about trying to come back to finish it later. This piece right here has been sewn in. I have also just finished sewing this piece right here, and then I finished the raw edge for this one with bias tape. The other pieces were hidden on the inside. There's too much dress here. I don't know how to show any of this. This piece here finished the raw edges on the inside, so nothing is sticking out. So I think that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side and then see how it all sits. Got the strap sewn in, and I've got it pinned on myself. Issue that we're running into is it's not sitting right. It's too, and I know I'm wearing a t-shirt underneath, but I've tried to arm without the t-shirt too, and I need to create some kind of just an itty bitty dart like right here. And then we finally reached the point where we can talk about pockets again. So this piece here creates the perfect spot to put my patch pocket right here. This is like right where a pocket would go on the pants that I'm currently wearing underneath, actually. That's my plan. Pockets, side seam, then zipper, then hem it. Let's go. How do we feel about this? Because it's doing nothing for the boobs. Thoughts. I pinned up just the part of the curve and made it, basically it would be a flat seam here. I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't want to undo everything and re-sew it. I do have fabric that I could recut it, but I really, really, really don't want to undo it because this whole everything was very hard and took me weeks to do. So let's try not to consider that. What do you think of this? Do you ever see those videos where people make their entire vacation wardrobe in 24 hours before they travel? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know how they do that. Those videos are fun, but this is not that. This is not that. So here's where we're at with the dress right now. I have a zipper in here. I have sewn one half of my hook and eyes. I have also hemmed the very bottom. So we're almost there. We are very, very close. The booby situation is it's where I'm struggling. I have taken in the side seams. I've moved everything up on the very front cup. Like this whole piece here was moved up, but it's still not quite sitting right. And I think the main issue why it's not really sitting right is because the whole cup piece is made up of this one ginormous piece that comes like here down and across, so it's not holding you in anywhere. The strap that we have that comes up and crisscrosses in the front, it goes underneath, like it's way down here at my rib cage, outside of what you can't even see in this video, but it's like down here at my rib cage, and the boob is up here. It's not like holding the breast in any way, and that's where I've been struggling to get it to hold it. But I think I finally figured out the solution I'm going for. I'm gonna add like a little dart right here under the breast, kind of creating kind of like a cup, and that should hold it in just enough to give the breast some shape and just kind of make it more flattering. But that's where we're at, and we are very, very close. I have today and tomorrow to figure this out and finish this. So I really hope that this solution works, because I've been seam ripping a lot and we're not making a lot of progress. We're not. I'm trying.
Tell me about your dress.
This is I'm probably gonna pronounce it wrong, but it's the Camilla and Marc Antelao something dress. I don't remember. But I tried to match the straps here, which I created to kind of be adjustable here. And I attached it with a hook and eye closure. And then this one's connected. And there's a zipper in the back here. And overall, I think I did pretty decent with the design of it. I'm happy with how it turned out. Not quite fitting right here, but it's okay.